Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. I am here talking about Critical Role yet again, as I always do, and we are doing a little bit of a recap and a little bit of reaction to the previous episode from this Thursday. By the way, I have a little bit deeper voice than might be normal. I have been incredibly sick with a head cold. I actually was able to do our pre-show that we do every Thursday, and then the following Friday, I completely lost my voice, and so I'm back at it again. I think I'm on the mend, but my voice is a little bit gravelly. And fun fact, it's actually normally pretty deep, but I'm hope that this is going to be nice and informative for you, and that you can put up with my extremely bassy voice for this episode. I thought it was a really fun episode. I'm really excited for all the stuff that happened. So let's go ahead and dive into it. And let me know, first off, I love always knowing where people are coming from, who got here, what country you're from, what state, what city, all that stuff. But also, like, how did you get here? Did you find it on Reddit? Did you find it on Twitter? All those different places. That's always helpful. We have a great community that follows these streams. Very giving, very kind, and very informative. So if you really want deep dive pieces of lore into Critical Role, ask chat, because they probably know better than I do half the time, to be completely honest. So I thought about moving the show to doing this on Mondays. That way we get, like, everyone has a chance to maybe consume the episode, but we'll see. We're constantly testing and trying new things. So I appreciate all you showing up, though. Wow, Alberta, Denmark, perfect. I mean, Denmark, Denver, Colorado. Denmark, Colorado would be a thing for sure. And oh yeah, we're getting a bunch of people in chat. That's awesome, fantastic. So I think we'll dive in and kind of go over the recap. And mind you, a lot of this was consumed in a cold haze with plenty of cold medication and everything else, and I completely lost my voice as well. So thank you for bearing with all of that. This episode had such an absolutely fantastic beginning. It was 18 years before the story actually begins. This is year 53, and we see Fang show up in the middle of the night. He's got a brand new ride from his family. Basically, it's very fancy. Everyone at Halandil Fang's family is basically asleep at the time. And, Halandil and Fang also, like, arrives and magics the reins around the post of the horse. I love these little flourishes of magic and kind of cantrip magic that kind of makes this a more evocative world. When it comes to the world of Ahriman, I like Thaisha having kind of that, I don't know if it's swagger or it's just how ubiquitous magic is, to just, like, hop off a horse, have the ropes tie around a post without having to physically do it. I thought it was really fun. I love little things like that Brennan adds to the world to increasingly make it real. And I always also love this increasing backstory between Hal and Thaisha, and I think I want more and more of these moments to solidify this relationship. And it was a very real relationship that Brennan was bringing to life for everybody. We did find out that Hero at this point, the baby, is only 5 months old, and we do find out in this very emotional moment, and this is like great improvisation, is that Thaisha had never seen Hero up until this moment, and Thaisha is very serious, very intent about things that are happening in the world, but it all stops, it grinds to a halt, just to see this baby, this 5-month-old baby that Halandil is holding, and he gets to hold him as well, and the baby gets very temperamental when Thaisha is holding it. Can't help but feel that this is a little informed by, the fact that Brennan has a family right now, so baby's family are top of mind. I thought that was really great. They mentioned that Mar Weaver was arrested. I can get all these names wrong. Feel free to correct me in chat while I'm talking. And they also found out that they arrested the druids, and the council has done absolutely nothing. Loza said there was a demonic influence and threat, and now there is a ban on all warlocks. So we see that Thiazi was very aware in the early stages that political influences, that evil influences, were seeking to usurp all the hard work that they had done. The fact that the druids are suddenly being rounded up, that suddenly warlocks are not okay, who would have been making these decisions early on? So the fact that we got to the point of this rebellion, the Falconers' rebellion, this is all pretense to that. And I think this is really remarkable. And again, really great things. Like, we found out Thiazi Fang had just been married that year. And he said this lovely thing. He promises he's going to tell this little girl a joke one day, this baby. And he tells Halandil, and this is such an emotional moment between two brothers, I feel like I'm going to throw my life away. And I don't know, the context feels like him going to battle is throwing his life away. Or I don't know if the context is, if he does not join this fight now, he's not throwing his life away. Or he can't do this without his brother by his side. I think it's man, what an emotional start. I mean, to anyone who has siblings, to be faced with this. And you see how much Halandil Fang is not part of this rebellion yet. And is focused on family, focused on his child. And we see this unrest when it comes to Thiazi, that he must do something. And Thiazi mentions, I do what I wish. I don't think he was doing that in a mean way, but it's clear that Thiazi is very stubborn. So let's get into the meat of the actual episode. I'm obviously trying to consume my own notes on this. Again, lots of mucinex and everything else. A lot of cold medicine was taken. We do have visions of a young orcish man in the underground again, in this orcish temple of fairy and death. We learn that the long shadow. Oh, we talk about the long shadow. The long shadow that is clearly Julien. We talk about the sister city to Dalmakyar and this druids meeting. They do end up in this tavern, which is pretty funny, but they can't all sleep in that bed as we are joining the Seekers. They end up in this tavern, and Octus kind of funnily points out, I don't breathe, and I don't technically sleep, so there's a little bit more room in this bed than people necessarily thought. I love this really funny, I don't know why, I just love Julien. I love Julien being a rich, between Wakander's privilege and also Julien's bizarre privilege. The fact that there's a laugh when Julien is asking for wine at the tavern, I thought that was completely hilarious. When he says Cabernet and the innkeeper thinks he says cabinets, I thought that was hilarious as well. These little moments really make the show for me, even though they're not, strictly speaking, insanely important plot points. I think they're really fun moments in the world. So, yes. Working on the map thing for sure. I think we'll get a map pretty soon from Critical Role, I hope. I think we have enough information at this point. Definitely something worth checking into. So we've got, you got me a little off track. I saw chat. The gentler folks, what happens to you? You won't be gentle. Oh, yeah, I remember this. So there is a Halavar soldier wagon outside the tavern. At first, this seems like it's not a big deal. There is a young Lux who walks with soldiers. She is with a Candescent Creed, and she walks into the inn and talks to some of them. And there is something very suspicious about this character. They mentioned that they're heading into the ancient city of Eternal Night, and that they mentioned to this particular woman that, hey, this is a really dangerous area. Why are you going there? This is a land of death. And I believe the character was saying that their name was Tenna and didn't seem that concerned about it. Now, once this character, they have a little bit of exchange and a rapport with at the tavern, she leaves the tavern. And then two horns extend as she sits in her carriage and revealing that she is, in fact, a demon this entire time. So we do find out, unfortunately, that Onctus, and this is something very specific about how Onctus is doing. Yep, Onctus's chest is leaking, and we have this whole scenario where we establish that Onctus is always going to be exactly the way he was when he was murdered, and this is very important. This means, and this has actually happened in D&D before, by the way, but the moment that Onctus was murdered, he can only heal up until that point using healing magic. So his organs being exposed, his chest leaking, all of that cannot be changed by healing magic. Healing magic will only take him to the point he was at when he was so brutally murdered by his family. So his heart will always be a little exposed. His innards will always be a little bit exposed. In a moment of brilliance, they do mending. And mending allows Onctus to basically sew up his wounds in a kind of a Frankenstein way, because he is technically not a living creature. He's more of an item. And I believe it was Thaisha that basically sewed him up using mending. And I thought that was a bit of brilliance to do. So it's clear that the aspirant who is of the Candescent Creed is a full demon. The other sisters of Tyranny turn out to be here. What's funny is the demon that was at the tavern, who they follow back to their location in the Candescent Creed, she thinks that it's potentially that one of them is Wakander and Tyranny in disguise, which is hilarious. And I love that Brennan is allowing his evil NPCs to be completely incorrect. And thank you everyone for putting up with the slowness that I am talking. My voice, I've already lost it, so I'm playing it really safe and slow. And I would have done this much sooner, but I still have a cold. But I really wanted to get this video out here on Monday. So thank you for hanging out. And if you have any corrections or things that you thought were really awesome, your favorite things in chat, go ahead and drop those. And also feel free to do super chats and stuff like that. But honestly, you just being here is plenty. So we've got the three sisters in this massive courtyard of this castle. We do learn. So we got those three sisters. Our characters do find their way to this massive courtyard. In fact, the city itself has massive courtyards all over the place. And we learn that space is kind of a premium here in the mountains, in this mountainous city. That's kind of how the rich people show off. So there is one massive courtyard, as it turns out, has a circular wall around the courtyard. And I can feel that cough coming. And they find 7 carriages from Royce and Davinos. And this is the lost caravan that never made it to Dalmakyar. 1 second, guys. Ooh, that hurt. Woo. 1 second, I gotta mute. We're doing it. We're doing it. Cough or no cough, we're getting through it. Whew. Oh, man. We got this. All right. So I love this moment, this creepy moment of the fact that they find the lost caravan. There's no guards. There's no horses. And there's no one who's dead. The food, the equipment, the boxes, the gear are all still there. I love the drama of this because I'm wondering, at this moment I'm thinking, oh God, was there a plague? Were they ghouls? Like, why is everyone missing? Why are the horses missing? Because if something left the supplies, something deeply monstrous maybe that didn't care about the supplies. And that turns out to be completely wrong. But I love the drama that kind of gets built up because of that. So, I'm drinking so much tea. Throat Coat Tea, specifically. But I already did another live stream with the Ghostfire Gaming folks for the Eldritch Lorecast earlier, so I think I'm right at the end of my ability to speak. But I wanted to get this out here. So thank you so much for showing up. I really appreciate it. They go, like, the equipment is there, the gear is all there. It's pretty funny. Oh God, Julien has the funniest thing to say to Vaelus. He says he's trained in guerrilla warfare, and you, being a trained elf, is so dismissive of someone who is thousands of years old. And he says, "Try to keep up." I love petty Matt characters. Brilliant, love it. I love how he's really straddling. Julian's really straddling this line of being a unlikable character and having moments of charmingness and earnestness, and you're becoming more empathetic and sympathetic to Julian's plight. But every once in a while, he reminds you he's an a-hole, and I love that too. So, the horns sound by the moving carriages, food into the castle. So Vaelus is trying to sneak in there. And so we learn Vaelus is technically Fey, being an elf. So Vaelus actually causes, by trying to sneak in with the carriage that goes through the gates, triggers that carriage theoretically, or maybe something else in the carriage has done so. Immediately, one of the guards grows large in size. So clearly these guards, who we are established, this family is, this house, are descendants of cloud giants. So they're very Goliath-coded, and mechanically are clearly Goliaths, right? You know, they have the ability to grow in large size as a bonus action from the 2024 core rules. It wasn't something in the 2014 core rules, but now they're 2024, they're clearly Goliaths. And they just knock this dude upside the head for even trying. And I love what Brennan does to describe this house. There is no orange in this house. Things are either red or yellow. That's it. I couldn't remember if he said red or green, but they have no in between. So it's like red, yellow, no orange. If you have offended them, if you've done something wrong, death. And that's just who they are. That is the spectrum of how they handle everything. They are almost binary in how they react. It's yes or no. It's violence or no violence, which is a really fun way to play a house, and a really interesting way to play a character as well. Probably not functional for your D&D group, but super interesting. So, the horns go off. The driver doesn't know why. Gets knocked by the guard, and the clocks the driver across the face. I think it detects Faye, and that's the whole point. We mentioned the giants. They're considered to be one of the most polite houses, but the threshold for violence is immediate. This is the point where mending does work on Noctis. Oh my God, they run into... So they do go into this castle. They run into a woman that Julien knows. I don't remember the character's name. So remind me in chat, but Julien's asked, does Julien probably know her? And he's like, yeah, but I've never really engaged with her or talked with her. And there's this ongoing joke that she is insecure about her pointy elbows, or that Julien has an issue with her pointy elbows. I can't quite remember, but this is an ongoing joke, and I cannot stop laughing about it because they go back to this again. It's so funny. Ingrid, that's right, Ingrid and her pointy elbows. I feel so sorry for this woman to be this. There's this whole life or death scenario happening, and she's worried about her pointy elbows. I think that's great. So they got instructions from Dalmacia, from House Royce, to stop and hold on to this caravan. And so that they were told that there was potentially a traitor in this caravan or an assassin. So they grabbed the guards, theoretically, they're still alive, and the horses, and have permanently, kind of temporarily imprisoned them within the castle. So they're not dead. We haven't seen them, we haven't interacted with them, but theoretically they are not dead. I'm getting a little bit of a second wind with my voice right now, so I'm leaning in. So someone sent false instructions to them about, I agree, I think it detect. So divine sense detects fae, fiend, or undead, which again kind of harkens back to the stone paladins who are capable of detecting things. So it makes me wonder if they've already... This is the suspicious point with this particular house, is why do they have a detection system in place? And it just so happens that House Tachonis is making statues specifically that have detection systems using paladins, using divine sense that detect fae, fiend, and undead. This makes me think that this family potentially is in with the Tachonises in some manner. So that's one of those little... We know something from another table, but this table doesn't know it. And so I'm pretty suspicious of this family at this point. Just based off that alone, it's too many potential connections. So, a handmaiden, however, leaves when they see this group. And handmaiden runs away, goes over, and sends off a carrier pigeon. When the carrier pigeon takes off, Octus eventually sends out, because Octus is completely disguised at this point and pretending to be a different lord, they can't have them knowing that Octus is actually here, which is a dangerous game because he can run out of spell slots. Disguise self will only last 1 hour, and certainly a warlock can have mask of many faces and keep on casting disguise self. That is not the situation here. As a wizard, he can completely run out of spell slots and not be able to hide who he is. The head of the house finds out that the handmaiden sent out, without being told to, a carrier pigeon announcing, and they don't know where the carrier pigeon is going to or who. When he asks, "Did you send this carrier pigeon?" just hammers their head into nothingness like that. Again, no orange, just red and yellow. Just immediately murders this handmaiden for going against orders or doing something that was not the proper order. Very dangerous house. So we do find out some cool bird lore, as we always do. I'm sure Brennan was excited. Carrier pigeons can go 60 miles per hour, which is wild. Vultures, not so much. And undead vultures, still not so much. So they're not going to capture the pigeon in time. This all required a Google search. So we kind of left there with this castle and the strange feeling that is existing in the castle. People feel that there is a weirdness within the castle. And that's where we leave off. So what do I think about this? What's my reaction? I think, again, great role-playing. Really fun moments. People sharing the table in really fun ways. I also appreciate that there's a lot of drama, but there's plenty of breaks for the players to kind of laugh and joke about stuff. I enjoyed the ongoing commentary about the pointy elbows. I thought that was really fun. And oh, am I wrong? Fiends, undead, and celestials, not fae? Interesting, because it used to be fae. Let me check, because this was a bone of contention when it came to changelings in D&D, by the way. Because, and a couple other issues, as changelings became fae in the new iterations of species for D&D. Goblins are now fae, which I completely agree with. Goblins should be fae. But let me go ahead and check Divine Sense. I am always happy to look up rules live on the show, and I'll start screen sharing, by the way, if that starts helping people as well. Given the fact I've been living and breathing D&D professionally for 10 years and been playing it since I was 8. I'm always happy to do so. Divine Sense. Einvasen is a really cool house, and I love how different they are than all the other houses politically. Again, the biggest warning sign for me right now is the caravan happens to be there, and the fact that not only is the caravan there, but something is triggering the alarm for Fae is very strange. So the bears in question. If this is true, let me look at Divine Sense in 2014. Assuming this didn't just revert me. Okay, these are the old rules. Make sure we get this right. Divine Sense. A strong evil registers on your sense like a noxious order. A powerful good rings like a heavenly music in your ears. As an action, you can open your awareness to detect such forces. Until the end of your next turn, you know the location of any celestial, fiend, or undead. You know the type? It's always not been Fae in 2014, and that bears a reason it's not Fae here. Why is this house worried about Fae, and how did they detect Fae? I think detect evil and good will do it, correct? So let's look up so they must have. All right, this becomes a little less sus. This implies protection from evil, I think, which is so bizarre. Detect evil and good, which is a little weird to be using specifically with species. So let's go and look this up. Thank you so much. We got 84 people. Thank you so much for showing up. I appreciate all of you. Don't forget to like and subscribe. This Thursday, as always, we do a pre-show right before the episodes of Critical Role. We have some exciting things that are going to start happening with that pre-show. Can't say what they are right now, but things will be happening. Not by this Thursday, but it's going to be fun, and it's a good hang with a lot of really generous and kind critters who know the lore so well. It's really fun. So let's look at detect evil and good. For the duration, you sense the location of aberrations, celestials, elemental, fae, fiend, or undead within 30 feet. You also sense whether the hollow spell is active there, and if so, where. So, okay, they seem to have permanent detect evil and good up. Yeah. Okay. So, I delete my belief that is specifically the statues from the Paladins. They just happen to have detect evil and good. Interesting that they have a concern with Fae. Now, it might not have been specifically Fae because the alarm went off no matter what, but there is a little bit of creepiness in the fact that they're playing elves. They're not a lot of aberrations that we're aware of in any way in terms of the world of Ahriman. Celestials seem to be uncommon unless we're counting Wikander for being what appears to be partially Aasimar. No real elementals. Fae we have in abundance, and that includes elves, potentially. Now, the Fae that you play in the Player's Handbook for 2024 are not considered to be Fae, I believe, but other types of elves are. So the fact that the alarm went off, could someone who was sneaking in there been a Fae or fiend? I assume it's because of Vaelus. Did they explicitly say the alarm went off because Vaelus was near the carriage? Or can it be that someone in the party is a fiend? Now, that doesn't really necessarily wash because of the three sisters. Didn't seem to be aware if they were really themselves or not. Or maybe they did somehow hide amongst that carriage. Hard to say, because that carriage clearly got searched after that situation. So I'm kind of wondering, is is something undead following Julien that we're not aware of. That shadow is the shadow undead, or some kind of curse. Maybe it wasn't Vaelus that triggered it. Maybe it was Julien. I don't know what you think about that, but that'd be pretty spicy if the reason that this detect undead thing is going off is because of the shadow that is following Julien. Yes, we do have another episode this week. Yeah, maybe another team, and one of the sisters was invisible following them. I agree. I think it's clearly not. So it's clearly not divine sense. It's clearly not the statues. So something else was crossing over, and not detected. Octus is undead, but he wasn't going through the carriage at the time, was he? Yeah, but Octus got in, right? Did the alarms go off when Octus went in? Now I need to watch the episode, because then that would be wild and weird. As soon as she crossed the threshold, the horn sounded. Yeah. And Brennan's very good at how he words these things, by the way, so. And they eventually crossed over this gate. And Octus didn't set off the detect undead. Detect good and evil. Interesting. Ashley did roll a 1. Yeah, very true. I feel like Ashley's rolls are like top tier 20 or 1. I feel like Ashley's getting a lot in the middle, personally. I don't know about you. But Ashley's suffering for rolls. God, I love Vaelus. What a fun character. And I love the back and forth with Julien. So on all, I don't review episodes here for Critical Role. I kind of feel like reviews kind of yuck people's yums sometime. And I think, especially with live play shows, especially a show like this, you kind of have to judge the show by its whole. So we're going to have episodes that are a little slow. We're going to have some episodes that are real high energy. We're going to have some episodes that focus on one particular character or player. And we're going to have some that focus on everyone all at once. And you really don't know what the overall campaign is until you have all these moments combined. These are some of my favorite people in terms of role playing. I've gotten a chance to play in a couple of games with Brennan Mulligan. I've gotten a chance to play in a couple of games with Aabria Iyengar. I've gotten a chance to play with Robbie Daymond. I've gotten a chance to play and produce shows with Luis Carazo. So I am very fond of this group. And technically I have played in a game with Matt Mercer. Matt Mercer actually did a cameo. He did a friend cameo of one of my live play shows. That was pretty surprising and freaked everybody out. We were playing a Spelljammer campaign, and he showed up as Boo, which was so kind of him. It was Matt does everything out of loving. I really appreciate that person. What a kind and wildly talented person. That was so funny because I didn't tell my cast that Matt was going to be in my show. So everyone logged. This is like COVID times, basically. So everyone logged in to Zoom, and then Matt appeared, and one by one, people looked at their screen, and Matt's sitting there with mouse whiskers drawn onto his face, because he's playing Boo. Hilarious. And then he does a voice for Boo, which is this very British posh accent that he decided to go with, and just killed it. I wanted to die. Everyone was laughing. I don't know that it was a functional episode because we couldn't stop laughing, but yeah, he killed it. It was such a good moment. Sorry, that's my aside. Anyways, big fan of the cast, and I'm never going to review these episodes because I have some of these folks are friends of mine, and I've had wonderful professional relationships with so many of them, and I've been interviewing them over the years for 9 years. So, am I objective? I don't think so. If I give my opinion, you should just know I'm partial to these people. And I produced and run live shows for Baldur's Gate and a lot of these creators and all kinds of stuff. And, so, um, and I know what it is to produce a live show, by the way. It's hard. This is hard work. You're having fun, but the act of improv and doing it well and sharing time around the table, coming up with fun, interactive stories, man, it's hard to. Chemistry is so valuable around the table. Sharing time, thinking on your feet. Um, this shared storytelling is so important. I've seen so many live shows fail because they don't have it, that camaraderie. So I love watching Critical Role, and I'm very very excited that I can get to cover it. Now that I'm kind of a free agent, you would say, I'm loving it. Gives me an excuse to watch the show every night too. I'm like, hey, this is your job. You have to do this. Oh no, I have to watch a really cool show for 3.5 hours. What a bummer. Because this is Aramon is scratching a very specific itch, I think, for so many of us right now. Like, right now, I am loving Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. I gotta tell you, man. I love the comedy and the funniness. But I don't have Mighty Nine right now. We've all watched Mighty Nine probably in chat. I got to review it. I got to watch it early as part of my review. I got to interview people about it. And now I don't have Mighty Nine in my life. But we've got Campaign 4. This is kind of why I love live play shows so much, because I don't have to wait for another season necessarily, right? We're getting all this content, and I'm excited also for the future, maybe seeing Campaign 4 become animated. I can't help but see some of these moments become animated. If you want to grab me in chat, at me in chat or super chat, and I will read. I will go and look right now. Matt as Boo was hilarious. I think I'll start sharing also in the future as I get interviews with the cast, as I've always done, and moments like that, whether it's about the animated series and stuff, I'll start debuting on these live streams as well. And I'm hoping to have some really cool guests on the show for the pre-show, which is a great hype moment. I want to have a couple of guests on the show. And then also for these recaps of this, I think would be really fun. Of like really cool, trying to find like other people who like to do recaps of these episodes, as well as people who are directly involved in the creation of Critical Role would be fun. I really like those kind of video breakdowns after things like Welcome to Derry, where you get, the HBO shows are really good at having like a little bit of podcast material after the episodes. Also, by the way, I think absolutely killing it. Whitney just came out with Tailgate, interviewing the cast about how they felt about the table at the end of all the things, and I thought that was really well done. Whitney's a natural host. She's been doing hosting duties for Critical Role at Comic-Cons and stuff like that. I first learned of Whitney because she did this amazing Dan Heatwave or Dave Heatwave. I always screw it up, but it's a hilarious music video that she directed, and that's how I became aware of her. She's just a comedic genius in my opinion. What a well-directed music video. Todd, if you could guest play in a session or Campaign 4, which of the 3 tables would you want to play? I get this a lot. I think Schemers, because I enjoy that a lot. One sec. Sorry about that. That was a really bad coughing fit. Yeah, I may have to wrap it up pretty soon. All things considered. But we can go on a little bit longer. Oh, I hate colds. I am such a baby about having colds. Yeah, I believe that's true. Um, yeah, it was shorter than you expected. Interesting. I don't know how long I expected it to be. Oh, what was this question I see in chat? Sorry, about Marisha. Does Marisha Ray watch all the episodes since she runs the live shows? Does the divination wizard actually know everything? No. I don't know if she watches every episode, but canonically, divination wizards don't know everything. They can control roles here and there for sure. Thank you so much. Yeah, the first 2 days of having this cold, God, I have this Superman hair thing happening. I can't control it. My hair is just naturally curly and wavy. Um, yeah, the first 2 days I thought was fine. Thursday and Friday. Thursday was, I could feel it coming on. Friday I thought, okay. And then I got destroyed Saturday and Sunday. It was at the worst. So, hopefully I'm getting better tomorrow because I gotta get these videos done. As much as I love this this podcast voice, I do need to give my vocal cords a rest. So hopefully everyone can hear me okay. I appreciate all of you for tuning in. By the way, 100 people is nuts for a Monday. And don't forget to show up for the pre-show. I love doing the pre-show. It's a nice let's get hyped show right before the show. Do you think they're trapped in the castle at the end of the episode? Yeah, they don't want them to go anywhere. I think they are trapped. I'm a little suspicious. I like that we're ending on not knowing. Oh, Tailgate had an extra 30 minutes if you have a Beacon membership. I didn't know that. I'm very pro Beacon, by the way. I think it's important that creators, what opportunity for creators to be able to kind of control. YouTube gives creators not a ton of money, to be frank, when it comes to advertising. So it's always important, if you are a big enough creator to create your own app, more power to you. That's why we have Dimension 20. That is why we have Dropout, and all the shows under Dropout is because of we've hit this era where you can get your own app made where you can stream video. So I am all for Beacon and them creating more and more content on Beacon. I think it only helps the community, really, because it also cuts out so many issues because you don't know what your future is going to be. We watched Twitter basically die in a matter of almost a year. Viewership died on that platform. Can you imagine how scary that is for content creators? So I'm thumbs up to Beacon. They're the two streaming services I always am paying for are Beacon and Dropout. Because, man, for Dropout, if you're having a hard day watching that comedy, and so much of it is comedic, it's just gold mine. It really helps cheer you up. Yeah. The deferring to Lady Aranessa, which is interesting, I agree. No, I don't think Brennan's making the decisions for the tables. I agree. It's always hard when you have a high-ranking NPC in the group. It's a slippery slope. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's I think that's a real danger. If you have a prince or a king or the head of a house in your group, very hard for the characters not to default to their opinion about what should be done. So we'll have to see in terms of that, how that goes. You can see my closet shovel behind me and my neon plushie dragon that my wife got me. Man, that thing looks radioactive in this light, by the way. I think we'll go on another 15 minutes so we have a nice, healthy hour. But thank you, everyone, for showing up. And sorry for my lack of sharpness, necessarily. I'm still recovering, but I will be doing great by the time we get to the pre-show on Thursday. So I appreciate all of you showing up for sure. We'll get some more slick versions of recaps, I think, in the future. It's all a matter of time. But I definitely going to be expanding into more Critical Role coverage, more Darrington Press coverage. Because I'm super excited for Daggerheart. I'm really excited for that content that they're churning out. I really love Critical Role, and getting the time to spend with all of you thinking about this stuff has been really great, and kind of my socialization. I bring it up with the Ghostfire podcast as well, because I get to hang out with people and just talk about D&D and tabletop games. That's pretty cool. Getting to just hang out with critters and talk about a Critical Role, like, what is the world that we're living in? 99 people, by the way. That's like 3 classrooms at once. That's I don't even know how to process that. I know there are people who want thousands and thousands of viewers, and I think that would be fantastic if we ever got there. So tell your friends, tell people in the Critical Role community we're doing these kind of streams. But it's just crazy that we have so many people that can just talk. Yeah, why is Ingrid crying in the end? Yeah, I could see a battle breaking out for sure. And this is the Seeker's Table, so I'm curious when we start seeing what defines the Seeker's Table a little bit away from the Soldier's Table, because we know the Soldier's Table is more interesting in combat. So what will the kind of ratio potentially be? Weird, I have a little alert on my... Did I miss a super chat? I don't think so. Interesting. We'll do a super chat goal that we don't need to hit in 15 minutes. Okay. Yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit the bell notification. That's especially a big deal. Yeah, I know. We haven't lost anyone yet. I know there's always speculation. Who's going to die next? We have no way of knowing. I know what would be the most tragic. Well, I think anyone dying at this point would be tragic. I'd be really sad. Thematically, I want to know more about what's going on with Kattigan. And to lose Kattigan so early would really suck. I could see losing Hal, but man, Aabria's character having to deal with that much loss is intense. Suggestion, when you respond to a comment, read us the comment. That way, oh, so sorry, yeah. That way people who didn't see it or are just listening know what you're talking about. What is there a specific comment? I'm sorry. Again, the cold medicine is real right now. Mr. Nemo said Brennan is not even shy about offing PCs. Well, NPCs he's definitely not shy of offing, but PCs, we've yet to see a PC be killed. Yeah, Wick is up. Good point, Wick. Mr. Nemo 721 says Wick has already died more than anyone else in Critical. Yeah, in Campaign 4, for sure. Oh, yeah, I don't think he's dead, but he's been... Wikander is a glass cannon, for sure. And I thought he was going to be packed to the blade. He needs to get a little bit more hit points on that boy. Well, he's not a warlock. Sorry, he's a sorcerer, clockwork soul sorcerer. You'd think his constitution would be a little bit higher and get some more hit points, but I don't know. Doesn't seem to be helping him in any way. Does anyone else, this is coming from AKA Flop 85, does anyone else feel like a large-scale war with the undead is coming? Yeah, I 100% think so. We keep talking about the membrane between the land of the living and the dead is increasingly getting thin. I think we're going to have like essentially incursions, tears in that membrane, and undead will start spilling out. I think the Tachonis family are preparing for it, or even egging it on in some way. I think that is the reason why we have the paladins being turned into stone mid using their divine sense. I think the Tachonis family is planning on an undead plague or an undead apocalyptic event and are making allegiances with different houses like House Wikander and other allies and providing them with these statues as early detection systems with that kind of infiltration of the dead. Oh no. P. Wog, kind of bummed. Thursday my neck fusion will probably be recovering in the recovering state in the hospital, but will have a cell phone. Oh my god. I'm so sorry. Hopefully you can get a tablet or something. I don't know if you can. Yeah. Oof. That sucks, man. Oof. Well, I hope you recover okay. That is intense. Dingell says, oh yeah, 100% undead war. Yeah, I think that's happening. Yeah, I think the Tachonis family may be controlling a sizable amount of those undead for this war, or whatever this event is. I feel like we're just constantly being reminded of this apocalyptic event. Treasure Eileen says, it is starting to feel like we're gearing up for a zombie war of sorts. Yes, I agree. Frostfire Tiger says, maybe the Tachonis are saving the world from the dead by any means necessary. Maybe they are the heroes all along. Very interesting take, and I think things tend to be a little bit more nuanced in the world of Ahriman, so I can see that being something. I don't know if they're necessarily good, but maybe they're trying to do a good thing by evil means, so that could potentially be something that we're seeing. By any means necessary. Happy Monday to everybody. Thank you, Camp Spaceship. Well, we're coming up on 5:15. I really like having these hangs. I'd like to do more of them, actually, if people were game about different topics. And I'm going to do more streamlined recaps for everybody as well. There's going to be a little bit more that goes into that for various reasons. That won't necessarily explain right now, but I want to make sure they're very professionally done and got all the proper clearances and stuff like that. So, coming from J9 Force handle name, I get the vibe it's more likely the Tachonis will create the crisis and pretend to be the ones protected. I love stuff like that in stories where the villains create a crisis and then step in as the heroes. Though typically I would think, well, that definitely makes the Wikander. I mean, Wix. That makes Wix family very happy for sure. The Candescent Creed would love it. Oh my god, the body horror of Octus. I love undead and creepiness, but body horror I actually have a problem with, which is, I know, a very weird thing to say. I didn't mind the body horror of Frankenstein, but like I don't love. I have a very visceral reaction to body horror. Yeah, like The Substance. Ugh. I will never watch that again. I know some people love it. It doesn't bother them. I can't stand it. What's the other one? I think, was it Talk to Me? Oh. Well, everybody, I have a phone call. I've got to go. I'm so sorry for the last minute leaving. But I appreciate all you. It's a very important phone call. Thank you so much for joining the stream. I will talk to you all later. Thanks so much.